do I address you?
You can call me Love.
Why'd you move to LA?
Oh, for the kids.
Sean Diddy Combs.
Sean Diddy Combs.
Sean Diddy Combs is now behind bars, accused of sex trafficking and running a criminal organization.
Sean Diddy Combs, also known as Diddy. I'm sure you guys know this name, and even if you never have heard of him, you must did in the past 2 weeks because he literally was the trending. This guy has played a huge role in the global music scene over the past 30 years. From his involvement in the murder of Tupac and Biggie, and his nightlives, which is so notorious for all sorts of shady stuff happening. And of course not to mention the rumors that pop up about him all the time. On top of the violence charges he is facing, we can say that this guy is a new giant in the United States. Diddy has finally been arrested and he is facing a bunch of serious accusations. To understand the amount of power and wealth he holds, you need to know that when he was arrested, his lawyers offered the court $50 million for his release. Can you just believe this number? This actually shows us that things are so serious and intense, and there is something odd about this whole situation. In this video, we are gonna talk about Diddy and all his crimes, and what is actually happening right now, because recently things are on fire. I hope you stick around to watch the whole video, because what I'm gonna say at the end is more powerful than what's in the beginning. And before we start, I hope you hit the subscribe button, and don't forget always to check the description below, because we're gonna have my social media there, and of course PayPal in case you wanna support the channel. I will appreciate it so much. Now let's dive in. The first thing we're gonna talk about Diddy is the Puffy Flavor Camp. That's where Diddy used to host teenage singers like Usher and Justin Bieber and others. And he teaches them how to navigate fame in the music and all other stuff in the industry. Back then, Usher was just a teenage singer and he wasn't famous at all, till someone discovered him and he sent him to New York to record his first album with Diddy. At that time, he was only 14 years old and he went to Diddy at the Puffy Flavor Camp. That's where Diddy would gather all his artists and to work with them. Usher was saying that whenever he go there, he would see some really weird and out of the ordinary stuff happening. In 2004, Usher mentioned in an interview that whenever he was staying with Diddy at the camp, things would always get out of hand. They were getting in all kind of inappropriate substances. Justin Bieber also spent 48 hours with Sean right after he turned 15, and after that, Sean gifted him with a Lamborghini. This specific action let everyone wondering how a 35-year-old guy could be hanging out with a 15-year-old. It's pretty confusing. At that time, Justin Bieber wasn't famous as he is right now. A year later, after they last met, they meet with each other in a place, and Sean asked Justin Bieber why he didn't come around like he used to. And in that video, Justin looks really uncomfortable. He was not sure how to respond to Diddy.
Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot. But
everyone thinks Diddy brought up a bad memory, which is why Justin got flustered. Diddy was known for throwing white parties. That's where all celebrities came and they all wear outfits in white. There was always rumors about crazy stuff happening at those parties, like a lot of forbidden things and more. And what's weird here is that Puff would always have them sign an undisclosed agreement. Basically, what happens at the party stays at the party, and no one can talk about it outside, or otherwise they would go to jail. Diddy has 6 kids with 3 different women. But what's strange is that all the rumors keep saying that in all his parties a lot of men would come out, or at least the majority of the invites are men. And this is actually backed up by a Jewish guy named the Fat Joe. He mentioned once that he had drugs in that party and he was looking for the toilet, but he got lost. So what he did, he just started opening doors and accidentally found Diddy laying out with a person named Felix Housecat, and they were spooning each other. That's right, they literally were spooning each other. When the Fat Joe talked about this, he got banned from attending those parties again. But it doesn't stop here, because personally, I'm starting to think that this guy might be an evil in a human form. The rapper Exhibit. One day, Sean called him up and said, "Hey, let's meet up in the club." But when they went there, Exhibit found out that the club is actually for gay people. And here when Exhibit was so confused and have no idea what even happening. And 50 Cent actually accused him of being gay, because 50 Cent once mentioned in another interview that in their first time of meeting, Sean asked him if they both could go shopping. This literally made 50 Cent not comfortable, and in that specific moment is where problems began between Sean and 50 Cent. Anyways, we will get back to this later, because there is a lot more to say. One day, Diddy was in an interview with the rapper Jadakiss and Fabulous, and they both witnessed Diddy talking with a person there in a weird way, and he started calling him Daddy. This literally left them in shock.
Yeah, I love this drink.
Will you move my
Chance with you. I
bag?
like
Yeah.
when you like this, Daddy.
Yeah, will you move my bag?
Daddy, I like when you
Absolutely.
when you
it's right here,
scrambling
it's
and
right here.
scraping for shit.
No, I got
I
notes
like
and
that.
shit. You know, I've been practicing. I got.
Next, Diddy asked Fabulous why doesn't he like coming up to his parties anymore. And Fabulous here just started giving him excuses.
Man, but I'm talking about for your birthday.
Huh?
Why won't you party with me for your birthday, man?
We partied for my birthday before. You came to my party.
No, but me and you ain't never really party, you know what I'm saying?
The same thing with Jadakiss. Not to mention that Jadakiss was a tough competitor and a real gangster, but still he was just scared and uncomfortable. This actually shows us that Diddy is so strong and influential. But anyways, so far to that moment, Sean Diddy, there haven't been any allegations of violence against women or something like that about him. Then came Jenna, who was his ex-wife, and this happened while he was still married to the model Casey. And Jenna said that Diddy had abused her a lot of times, but she never talked about it, because simply she was scared of him. But in 2023, which is last year, his ex-fiancée Casey came forward and sued him, and she accuses him of abusing her for 10 years. And then hell broke loose for Diddy, and lawsuits started piling up against him from everyone.
Multiple cameras shows Combs assaulting his then girlfriend Cassie Ventura in a hallway at a Los Angeles hotel in March 2016. A lawsuit filed by Ventura in November last year and settled the next day referenced actions that seem to match those seen in this video.
Anyways, Casey and Diddy met for the first time in 2005, when Casey was just started out her music career, and she was 19 at the time, while Diddy was 37 years old. She had just released her first album called Me and You, and Diddy noticed that, so what he did is that he reached out Ryan Leslie, who was Casey's producer, and he signed a contract with them together. After that, she will drop her album under the Bad Boy record, which is Diddy's company, by the way, and after working for him for several months, Casey became the face of his clothing brand, Sean and John. In 2007, Diddy split from his ex-wife Kim Porter and he started dating Casey. And in her claim, Casey said that he had complete control over her life, from her own money to everything else. And she also mentioned that he was mentally ill and he would abuse her several times a year, and even he would force her to do drugs. During that time, Sean Diddy started posting videos where he was acting all weird with Casey. And she also mentioned that everyone who works with him listen to what he says, because simply everyone was afraid of him. But the thing that got the federal police to launch an investigation is that Casey confessed to them that he was forcing her to have sex with other people and filming it. And that's exactly what made the police suspicious that he was involved in human trafficking. And he became a person of interest in the eyes of the federal police. Casey said that despite everything going on, she was scared and couldn't go to the cops because this guy is just so powerful. But then Diddy came out and denied everything, calling Casey and all the other liars clowns, and that everyone was looking for a quick payday, especially when Casey was asking him for $30 million, or she would write a book about everything that happened between them. But when he wasn't into that, she filed a lawsuit against him. But the weird thing is that this case was closed just 24 hours after that. No one has an idea why it was closed or how, but all the newspapers and journalists are saying that Diddy paid Casey millions for that, even more of what she asked for, which is $30 million US. After everything that happened, many women and people started accusing Diddy for the same things: rape, violence, assault, and soon everyone was piling on lawsuits against him. Previously in New York State, a new law was passed allowing anyone who has experienced violence, assault, or rape. Even if it's been like 15 years since the incident, an investigation can be reopened. The biggest issue is that all these accusers have evidence, and then Diddy posted on Instagram saying that he had stayed quiet in the past weeks, and it reveals how all these people are trying to tarnish his reputation and career. He denies everything and says, "Let's make this clear, I haven't done any of the things that are being attributed to me. I'm going to keep fighting for myself, my family, and for the truth." There was another person named Aubrey O'Day. She was working for Diddy in a team called Danity Kane. It was probably a dancing team. She lately showed up on a TMZ documentary, saying that she was the first one to even talk about Diddy's crimes, in that she was so mentally abused by him over the years of working for him, till the moment she got fired by Diddy himself. But alright, listen up closely now. Right after this post, a new lawsuit was filed against him by one of his friends and the producer of his last album. This person known as Lil Rod. He claimed that Diddy sexually assaulted him and forced him to do drugs during the time he worked with him, which was from September 2022 to November 2023. Lil Rod, by the way, was also Diddy's personal photographer, and when he filed this lawsuit, it wasn't actually empty. It was packed with evidence and videos of drug use, forcing minors to use drugs, and sexual assaults. This case has the rapper Meek Mill involved in it. Lil Rod said that Meek Mill was always with Diddy on his yacht with underage girls. Lil Rod also said that Diddy has hidden cameras all over his mansion. He was recording anyone who came over, and from this, we might witness some serious disasters coming up if these footages came to the public. And 50 Cent said that he's going to try and get his hands on all these videos, even if he has to pay a lot for it. Back in March 2024, the Federal and National Security Police raided Diddy's mansion in Los Angeles due to allegations of human trafficking. They said that they found some laptops and few flash drivers, but they didn't mention what was on them. But they recently mentioned that they found over 1,000 bottles of baby oil there, and I'm sure that a lot of you guys have seen a lot of videos about people making fun of it online. Well, believe me, it's a fact, because the FBI themselves are the ones who actually said it. But when the lawyer was asked why Diddy bought so many of these bottles, guess what he said? He said that Diddy loves shopping in bulk, like in huge quantities. Can you believe that? At that time, Diddy wasn't at that mansion. He was actually out of the country in the Caribbean. And TMZ even shared a picture of his private plane at the airport over there. That's when a lot of people started complaining that Diddy was running from the cops, and they felt like something was really off. But hold on, there's still a lot more you need to know. The founders of Uptown Records, who actually helped Diddy kick off his career and gave him a shot in the industry, were all dead in younger ages. For example, Andre Harrell, who passed away at 51 years old. Heavy D passed away at age of 44. Kim Porter passed away at 47 years old. And A.L. Bishur was in a coma for 2 months. And by the way, A.L. Bishur is the father of the kid that Diddy adopted. He had that kid with Kim Porter before she split from him and married Diddy. And when A.L. Bishur came back from his coma, he realized that Diddy was behind all of this. They cannot just die at those ages. It can't be a coincidence. And moreover, they all connected to something, which is the Uptown Records. But why does Diddy want to wipe out everyone who was with him from the start? It seems like everyone who started with him, some have died, while others just vanished, and those who stuck around have all turned against him. It looks like Sean Diddy still has some secrets to hide, and he is still causing even more chaos. He is not the only one involved in all these issues. Even Jay-Z and DJ Khaled are all in the mix. Now, let's rewind to September 16. That's when Diddy got arrested in a hotel in New York, and this is the actual footage of him being arrested. There is also news that all the famous and powerful people are now trying to save Diddy, because if he falls down, everyone will fall with him. And when the national security raided his mansion, they found tapes and a bunch of evidence that could implicate them too. For example, Lucian Grange was also arrested. He is the CEO of Universal Music Group. It's the biggest production company in the music industry. He got arrested because he was involved in the case too, and because he was the one helping Diddy set up those secret parties. Witnesses to the case said that Lucian would go to Diddy's home and he would hang out with him in the bedroom for hours. Lucian's lawyers tracked down Lil Rod and asked him to retract his statements and apologize to Lucian Grange. And that actually just shows and heightened the suspicions that Lucian is even more guilty. And now a lot of celebrities and powerful figures are so scared because Sean Diddy might take them down with him. For example, Leonardo DiCaprio, Kevin Hart, Rick Ross, and Ashton Kutcher. And just a lot of celebrities, like the list is just so large. And it seems like the case is suggesting that Diddy is the Jeffrey Epstein of the music world. So in the soon future, we might hear reports that Diddy committed suicide or killed in the prison. Like who knows? Sean Diddy and his lawyers asked the court to approve a $50 million bail for his freedom, of course, but the request was denied, which is honestly so strange, since Diddy is not facing a murder case or any serious crimes, but still the court rejected it. All this just means that the case is more serious than what we thought, because if it's some kind of normal cases, how would he pay that much? Like a $50 million? Of course, unless it's something so serious and more dangerous. And there was also another person who showed up in an interview and he said that Diddy offered him $40 million to join his party. Like who would pay that much money to someone to join his party? Unless of course he's some kind of psycho. Like honestly, what are we dealing with over here? And by the way, have you ever heard of Diageo, the company that produces 40% of all Scotch whiskey? And that was the drink that he was marketing a lot, to the level that people even think that it's his company. But it wasn't his company, he was just a promoter. And over the years of promoting, he racked up $1 billion in earnings with them. But still, he went on to create his own drink and called it Diageo. I hope I spelled the name right. And he asked Diageo company to invest in it, but the company rejected it, so the project flopped. Sean Diddy sued the company and blamed them of the failure of his project. But again, guess what's so weird at this part? Is that during the trial, Keffe D was arrested and he confessed to the police that Diddy gave him $1 million to take down Tupac. Like how's that happened so fast? Could this be a conspiracy against Sean Diddy? Because all of this happened just as he was standing up against the company. And when he thought about turning against them, all this went down. Because it's just quite impossible. Like it's been 25 years since Tupac was killed, and the killer would show up when Diddy was going through court with Diageo. Previously, 50 Cent mentioned this in one of his interviews, saying that the folks in Diageo have the power and influence to do pretty much anything. They can flip any civil case into a criminal one. Sean Diddy was indeed committing those crimes, and he was living freely under the radar. But now he went through a lot and got hit with 47 cases, like so far at least. On December the 9th, the court told Diddy to cough up $100 million to a person named Cardelio Smith, who is actually an inmate that filed a lawsuit against Diddy, and he claims that Diddy assaulted him and sexually harassed him at a party 30 years ago. The judge ruled in favor of the inmate since Diddy didn't show up to the session. So Diddy was asked to pay $10 million every single month, starting from October until he reaches $100 million. Sean Diddy lawyers are good that this ruling is just disgusting and it's just a scam. The important thing is that there are dozens of lawsuits filed against Diddy, and now he is facing charges of sex trafficking, kidnapping, bribery, and obstruction of justice. But anyways, Diddy was arrested last week in a hotel in Manhattan, and now he is stuck in one of the most dangerous prisons in the US. But his lawyers still say that he is an innocent guy and there is nothing to hide. So ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this guy's case? Like honestly, I feel like there is something else lurking that's gonna come out later. Also 50 Cent has struck a deal with Netflix to produce a documentary about Diddy's life. It will cover everything that's going down. There are also rumors floating around that there are clips of Diddy's sexual assault in Justin Bieber, but nothing has been public yet. And if that's actually true, there would be some big names tangled up into these issues. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the video. If you appreciate my effort, hit that like button. And if you like this kind of content, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I will appreciate it so much. And don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss the upcoming videos. I'm here, Hassan in Scori the Mysterious. See you later.